Yeah, we're live. Coming to you live, pre-recorded. What's up, Annika Bennett?
Live and pre-recorded all at once.
Yeah, all of our Patreon $100 a week subscribers can watch this live.
Really?
No, no,
Oh,
that's not true.
that would be so sick. I don't know how you would like technologically swing that, but that would be really sick.
Yeah, I literally have no idea how to do anything. That's why Zoom is good, because I can just press
Yeah.
start record and then end record.
No, it's dope. You totally slayed the Zoom thing.
Thank you so much.
So smooth.
That's cool. I appreciate you saying that. It is very good to see you. Are you coming to us from Nashville today?
I am. I'm in my room in Nashville.
This is your bedroom?
This is. I can give you a tour.
Wow, this is your bedroom. When I was even talking to you earlier, I thought this was like, I didn't realize. This is cool.
This is my bedroom. This is there's really not much in here to look at, but these are my curtains.
They're very pretty.
The curtois. I don't know what else I have. Really messy. If you looked over there, you'd be like, ooh. But here it's fine, I think.
What part of town do you live in? Are you still over in Brentwood?
No, I live like near Vanderbilt, Belmont kind of area.
Cool.
Been in this area for like 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, I figured you had moved from Brentwood a long time ago when I said that.
Yeah.
But that was the last time I'd been over to your place.
That's so wild. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live?
I live even further south of where you used to live. What'd you say?
I said, give us the exact address.
I live in Bradford Hills. It's a neighborhood. I live in the suburbs. I live down close to Nolensville. Like,
Oh, nice.
if you know where Lenox Village is, that's like where I live.
I've heard of it.
It's just it's the burbs. I live in the burbs.
I love that.
I live with my mom and dad, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's very fun.
I always forget that you're from Nashville.
I'm born and raised here, yeah. So I mean, this is the home I grew up in. This is where I am right now. Where are you from originally?
I'm from New York.
That's right, like upstate?
No, like right outside the city. But now, like for the past like however many years, I don't even know. Both my parents have lived in like one's in Manhattan, one's in Queens. So
Oh, whoa.
my family is New York City.
That's cool.
But
wow, what? That's crazy. That's really special.
Yeah.
I have a lot. We need to talk about that a little bit because I'm very curious about what it's like growing up there. I do first want to mention to anybody listening that you just put out a song a few days ago.
Yeah.
It's called Sober Up. It came out, was it last Friday? Was it on Friday?
It was like 3 days ago, like this past Friday.
Yeah. It's cool. It sounds so fresh.
Thank you. Wait, that's so dope. Thank you.
Yeah, no, for real. I'm really like, where did you record it? I'm curious about who was on this. Anyone I know?
It was really just me and Julian Dente. Do you know him?
Yeah, totally. He used to have a project called Youth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so good, and he lives in Nashville. And
what? That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome that y'all know each other and that you're working with him.
I know. It was actually like weirdly enough, there's like a publishing company that he works with in LA that I met with when I was in LA, and they gave me like a whole list of producers that I could like work with. And Julian was in Nashville, and I was like, well, let's just like try a day with him, and it just totally clicked.
Yeah, he's a really, really nice guy.
Yeah, and I think also the fact that he's an artist himself, I think just adds a really cool element to like working with him, just because he really, like he's just coming to it from a very like emotional, like artistic place, you know?
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. That's special. So this is y'all's first song together?
Yeah, well, we actually did a whole EP together, but this is just the first song to come out. So then there's gonna be another one like in a month, and then in a month, and then I don't know what I'm doing after that. But there's like 5 songs that we did.
Yeah. Wow, that's so exciting. We're gonna be graced with a lot of new singles.
I know, I'm really stoked because like it's been so long since I put music out. So
Truly. Yeah, it
uh,
has been a minute, and you've only got one song, I think,
yeah,
right now on Spotify, Boy Who Has Everything, which came out in
yeah.
2018. So this is pretty exciting news for us who use Spotify.
I know, yeah. So I have like all like this EP coming out, and then I have like another album that I'm like finishing the production on. So I feel like um from now until the day I die, I'll be putting out a lot of music.
Yes, that is the spirit. That is awesome. Wow, wait, so you have a whole album you're working on?
Yeah, it was like a quarantine album that that I just like started at the start of quarantine, and I'm still like at this point I'm just working on like the production and stuff. But yeah.
Yo, wait, so did you record that at home?
I did, yeah. I like got um I just started trying to produce stuff in quarantine. Um and I think more than anything it was like a mental barrier for me of being like, no, like I can do this. Like I could just I have to just try to make something sound good. Like that's all I have to do, you know?
Yeah.
So like I think that kind of like there was just like a shift that I had where I was like I think I can produce stuff. And like obviously I'm gonna get somebody else to like mix it who like really knows what they're doing and like but for
Yeah.
the actual production I'm like I'm just sending it.
Yeah, that's cool. I've kind of had a recent similar like revelation where I'm like, I can I don't need music to sound perfect. Like I can make this in my house. Like it can sound fresh coming from my computer.
Totally. I'm sure even with just like doing a podcast, it's like I feel like a lot of people I know have had this spirit of just um like why not, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Or more like what am I waiting for? Like why do I
Totally.
feel like I need somebody else to like make something happen?
Yes, exactly. And it's just like when you start by just creating, a lot of times you wind up being happier with the result than when you're like waiting for everything to be perfect before you start.
Totally feel that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at least for me, quarantine like kind of shifted that in my mind a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. The your new song, I love how the chorus is so tight. Like it sounds so something about the production, like it just sounds so fresh and like it really like tightens up in a cool way, if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
I'm curious I mean, I don't know much beyond the songs that you've released. Like since that song that you put out in 2018 to now, have you had like a lot of different inspirations arrive when it comes to like production, or do you think working with Julian is like was that a pretty collaborative
Um
thing?
yeah, I think honestly the biggest change for me was like in those 2 years, I feel like I just did a ton of co-writing and like pop co-writes for other people, and like working in rooms with producers writing songs. And so like
Cool.
even though for me both of the songs that I have out, like both of them I just like wrote by myself on guitar, I think that just having that experience for like I don't know a year 2 years of like watching producers produce, I think sort of like helped inform me a little more of like what I wanted to do, or like even what kind of things I could ask for and like how to communicate with a producer a little better.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
because also like with the song I put out 2 years ago, like it was literally just me and some friends of mine in New York in a room, um, like basically tracking live, and then like obviously we added like harmonies and like edited some stuff afterwards, but it was pretty like just band vibes. And so I think that it kind of in the 2 years I was like open up to the idea of having everything be like in the box and like track based.
Yeah, right.
Um,
That's cool. Wait, so you did some music up in New York?
That was Boy Who Has Everything. Was up in New York with like a bunch of my friends from like NYU and New School and like. Yeah.
Whoa, really? So you went up there and just worked on this, did this intense session where you're like creating this song?
Yeah, it's funny that this was in like summer of 2018 that we did this, but it was yeah, we actually ended up recording like 8 songs or something like that in like
What?
3 days. Like it was really dumb, but we did basically an entire EP, and then I only have one other song is out because the rest of them, I don't even know. I just kind of decided not to put them out, I guess.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I'm curious because I think about this all the time. What do you think about like, how do you reconcile with not putting out those songs? Like, are you worried about like expectation or like people being like, oh, why didn't you put out the rest of these songs we did together? But ultimately it's up to you. I think you make the right decisions, but it's just like, as the artist, you get to make that call. But sometimes I get worried when I work on songs with people and then like, I just never wind up releasing them. I'm like, I hope there's not hard feelings in that, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. I think that also, I think when it comes to stuff like that, I can just be pretty avoidant, you know? I'm just like, okay, well, if they bring it up to me, then I'll answer, but otherwise, like, you know. But
Yeah,
also,
right.
I think that just having written on like so many other people's projects, or just having written like so many songs with other people that like are supposed to come out and then don't, and like all that stuff, it's just, I think that I get it from both sides, and I think and hope that like if people are like professionals and like you're paying them to do work and like,
Yeah.
and then it's like they'd obviously be bummed if it doesn't come out, but like they would also understand it, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, and when you talk about it like professionally, it makes I think that also helps me a little bit, especially if like it's like this is just this, but sometimes I feel like it's hard because your personal relationships and your professional relationships in Nashville and in the music industry become so
Oh my God, it's
tied
crazy.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it is crazy.
but yeah, I think that there is, um, I think that especially like when it's like your art, you feel so like, or like when it's your song, you're like, oh, this is my baby and it's my whole life, and like if it doesn't come out, it feels like a huge thing. And I feel like for other people, it's like, well, yeah, it's a bummer if they like spend a day or like 2 days of their time on a song that doesn't come out, but I don't think it like would weigh the same, you know?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. Um, that's
But
cool.
I'm also just trying to justify the fact like that I recorded a whole EP that I'm not putting out, so.
No, I mean, I think you have every right to do that, and I think honestly that restraint is probably like is definitely like a really cool skill that you have, because I feel like sometimes I'm like trying to find that restraint because I'm just like, I guess I should put this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
totally. I feel that.
I think that's really cool. I didn't realize. So do you do a lot of co-writes? Do you do a lot of that?
Yeah, I do, but it's mostly like, um, it's never for like me as an artist. But yeah, it's actually like for the past couple of years, I'd say like a majority of my time almost has been spent. Maybe not a majority, but a big percentage of my time has been spent co-writing. Like I do a few a week. Um,
Wow.
and like I've done like a few trips to LA where it's like I'm just co-writing every day for like 2 weeks or something.
And you
So
said that's through a publishing company, or is that independently?
I'm still totally independent right now. I kind of like the independent vibe.
Whoa, cool.
Uh, but there are like companies that people at companies that I know that will like set me up on stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like pretty chill. There's just like a ton of people that like there's just like a million happening all the time everywhere. So
Yeah. Right.
it's just like getting in the rooms that you're like stoked to be in, you know?
Totally. Yeah. I don't have a lot of friends who like songwriting is their like comes before their artistry. I think watching like rocky transition into that was
Yeah,
really interesting to me because I just never fully really understood what the whole world of songwriting means. And I know he pretty quickly jumped into like a publishing deal, and now he has people basically set him up co-writes, yeah, I guess like 3 or 4 times a week. Seems
yeah,
very intense.
yeah. It is, but it's also um I feel like, at least for myself, the more I do it, the more I like can relax into it, kind of. Um,
Hmm.
but I think inherently it is pretty intense to like have to just like be that creative all the time. But it's also like really fun, and I think that it's just without a doubt made me such a better songwriter. Um,
Yeah. Oh, I can
when I'm
imagine.
when I'm writing alone, uh, it just yeah, it's like crazy how much you can just like pick up from people when you see their process.
Yeah, right. Oh man, I bet that is just like incredibly inspiring. I always think about that with Chris Stapleton and like how he's the best songwriter, and like that album when he put it out, how much it impacted me. And just thinking, wow, this person has written so many songs. Like his understanding of the craft of songwriting is so beyond what I can comprehend.
Yeah, it's so crazy because yeah, especially like um sometimes like being in the room with somebody that just is on this next level of writing and um like seeing what kinds of like what their approach is, or like what kinds of images they think of, or what um or like how their mind like wants to tell the story or something. It's so insane.
Yeah, right. Do you does it still feel like an art form to you? Or is it work? Or does it feel fresh and like art that you're
You know,
creating?
I think that it honestly depends on the day. And I think that I've been trying to sort of like steer the sessions I do to be ones that feel more like art. Like I really like working with other artists, so that there's like somebody in the room that has a story that like they're trying to tell, um or like an idea, like just so there's a person that we're speaking from. And when that's the case, usually it does feel like art, and it feels um like just really fun. And like I hate the word authentic because it's like, what does that even mean? But it just
Yeah.
feels like, okay, yeah, we're saying something from somebody. But then there's also a lot of like sessions that I honestly don't really do anymore because they would always bum me out. But like sessions where it's like, okay, like there's a television show and we need a song that like says the word like magnolia 4 times and blah blah blah. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
Whoa.
like there's that side of that's an extreme. I made that up. But like there's that side of things too that um that feels like work. But some people are really good at that. And I think that's part of it, is that like I'm not really good at the like getting up like a pitch for a song and then trying to write it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, right. That does seem particularly difficult. That and a lot of expectation, you know.
Yeah, it's a specific skill set, I think.
So when you're doing uh like co-writes like this, is it just are you writing with the artist or is it two people writing for an artist normally? Like are you trying to just like or like creating a song that you can pitch to artists?
It's kind of both. My favorite sessions are usually the ones where it's like there's an artist there in the room that you're writing with. But yeah, I also do ones that are like just like me and another writer, or like a couple writers and a producer, and you're just trying to like write a dope song. And sometimes there's like artists that you have like that are looking for songs, or like people you have in mind. But
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's kind of like everything, like all of the above, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. So I feel like yeah, I feel like it could be cool to write with the artist in the room because then if they're feeling sold on it, that's probably like pretty reassuring. Like you know where the song is, you know who it's going to, and you can kind of like press into their inclinations with trust that they're happy with it, you know?
Totally feel that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So I'm like, when you came to Nashville, was that something that you were planning on focusing on, or were you planning on doing more with your artistry, or do you feel like things are going as planned?
I don't think things are going as planned, but I feel like I've just been really stoked for the last, I guess, like year or year and a half or whatever it's been, that I've been able to like just do music full, like just make music and have that like provide for my life and stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
In that sense, I'm like, hell yeah, things are going according to plan. But like when I first moved to Nashville, I like signed with a country label, and so that I don't really know what that plan was, because like I don't think I ever wanted to be a country artist. So there was some plan there that I never thought through, I think.
Hmm.
And then maybe like a year and a half after I moved here, I like left that label, and then I started like getting into the co-writing for other people thing.
Wow. Can I ask you a little bit about that label experience?
Sure, yeah.
Well, one, like, I guess to back it up, what brought you to Nashville? Were you doing music prior to, and how old were you when you moved here? Was it like college aged, like post high school?
Yeah, I was 18 when I moved here. So like when I was 17, I guess, I met just really, really randomly. Like I've been doing music my whole life. So I guess like I had some stuff out in the world, but when I was 17, I met an A&R at a label in Nashville, and they like had me out here to play for them and like that whole thing. Um and then they signed me to like a artist development deal, and then when I was 18, I like moved down here, and
Wow.
that's when we met,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
kind of.
totally.
And then but I didn't like know anyone here, and I didn't really know anything about like the industry or anything at all. And so it was like people I was working with at the label were so nice. Like they were genuinely just so like um encouraging and like really dope. But I think ultimately it wasn't right, just because like I don't do country music.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was
How
like
do you meet an A&R person? How did that just happen if you're in New York? How did you meet someone in Nashville?
there was a there was a guy there was like a producer who kind of randomly saw me play, who knew the A&R guy, and then I don't remember if he took a video or if he like found
Wow.
like a really random like just right place, right time kind of a thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you would, call that luck or just fate, or if it's just because you're so talented and amazing, but that is like a really cool thing to happen, especially so young, to be able to come here and already have like some stuff kind of
Yeah.
working out. Like that is really special.
Yeah, I feel like really grateful for the whole thing, because also um I think I think ultimately it was good for me to not like really do the college thing. Um but I think that if I was just out here and like didn't have any sort of like support system or like any sort of um like people I was working with, I don't know what I would have done. Like I probably wouldn't have moved here. So I think that it gave me like confidence at a
Yeah,
time when I really like needed it. So
totally.
yeah, it was definitely like I feel very fortunate for that whole experience.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like getting an opportunity like that, giving you the confidence to keep going. Like it is so special when you get affirming moments in your musical career in your life to where you're like, yeah, I am an artist and I'm good at this and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Totally. Yeah, and I also like, as weird as it sounds, I'm really grateful for the fact that it didn't work out also, because
Mm,
I think that it was like the age I was at, but also just the like um sort of looking at the music industry from the outside in. I feel like I had this like idea in my mind that if I signed, that if all I had to do was like get a record deal, and then from there it's like smooth sailing, and to actually be on the other side of that and be like, oh, it's actually like low key like more difficult now. Like there's more pressure and like more things you have to worry about and people you have to please and like all that stuff.
Right.
And then and now to be out of it again, it's like I feel like the allure of a record deal is sort of gone for me, which I think is good, you know?
Yeah.
Because it really is. It's like I think it can be a really dope thing, and it can also be like a really shitty thing.
Right. And there's no more like of that. Just it's not some sort of fantasy where like a lot of people don't know what a label is, and it's like, oh, maybe if I could get to that point, then I'll
Totally.
like make it. You know. And you're
Totally.
like, I've already been there. I know what that is, and I know like how my relationship with it.
Right. And that, but it totally works for some people. But I guess for me to be like, oh, that didn't work for me, and so like I need to figure out like new goals, you know?
Yeah.
I think was good. But
So how did you meet? Like when I met you, you were I think living with Charlie, right? Charlie Adams, and
yeah,
I feel like you quickly. When I knew you were already like friends with and like Hank Compton, like all these people in Rocky Black. How did you meet all these people?
it was through Charlie. But Charlie I met because we got set up on a co-write together, like literally my first time I was ever in Nashville.
Wow.
Um, and I think it was like my first co-write ever, actually, pretty sure. But we ended up like writing like half of a song and then going to get dinner somewhere and then just talking. And then when I decided a few months later I was gonna move to Nashville, I texted her and I was like, yo, if you know of anywhere that I could rent a room, and she was like, I have a house, you could like live with me. And so then I moved in, having like met her once, and
Oh my
then
gosh.
um and then she just like introduced me to everyone in that friend group, and then and now
That's crazy. I cannot believe that. That's a crazy story.
yeah, it's really wild because it's like a lot of those people, like I'm still like, even if I'm not best friends with, like I see them around, you know, and like we like hang out and catch up every once in a while, and it's just really dope that um that there's like so much history, but then also that all those people knew each other for years before I even got here.
Yeah,
Like it's crazy.
that is crazy. Do you still like being here? Or like, and what's your relationship with New York? Is that a place you'd ever want to go back and live in?
Um, I yes and no. Like for this stage in life, I wouldn't want to, or I'm not gonna go back and live in New York. Um, I love New York so much, but I do feel like um, it's a very different city depending on how much money you have, and like I feel like Nashville is pretty like you get the same experience if you're like really struggling to get by, or if you're like pretty set. It's like more or less the same city, but New York is just like literally completely different city if you're like living really far out and um like in a tiny little apartment. Like it just
Yeah.
basically like that version of the New York experience I don't think I want. And
Yeah.
so I would move back there if I could like really live in a dope area um and like live it up, you know?
So you kind of feel like it's like a later life or like not yet kind of thing?
For me, yeah. But
Yeah.
also there is like it is just really dope. I just feel like there's like a um like the grind is very real there, and I feel like for right now creatively I don't think I feel up for that. Like I really like the ease of Nashville, or
Yeah.
even like LA, and just like the how many creative people are there, all in one small area. I just think New York doesn't have that. Like you have to grind a little more to like find that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Every time I'm there to like play a show or something, I think that I could live there. Like I'm staying with a friend. I'm just like, wow, this looks like so. It just looks like such a fun lifestyle. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I'm like, I come home and I'm like, man, was I just dreaming while I was there? Like I get caught up in the moment, and then I get back home. I'm like, I could never do that.
It's really wild. I mean, I'm sure like having like living there in your own space or something would feel different, but yeah, it is just like can be very, very nonstop, and I think that there's something really nice about the pace of Nashville that
Yeah.
that like I've really come to love. I think it freaked me out when I first moved here. I was like, the days are literally longer.
Really? Wait, what do you mean by that?
Like I feel like the days in Nashville are literally longer than like in, not literally obviously, but like they feel longer than in New York or LA, honestly.
I wonder why. Do you have any idea why that would be?
No. But I mean probably a big part of it is like travel time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where
Right.
like yeah, where you can get places in like 5 minutes in Nashville. But and then it's like 45 or like I don't, in LA or New York. I don't know. But I've talked about this with other people and like other people agree with me. I don't think I'm crazy, but it is weird. It's like the time just goes a little bit slower here.
Wow. Maybe it's something about the ease of it too. I mean, you said like it feels a little bit more laid back. Maybe I think when you have a little bit more time to like register and process everything going on, it can feel a little bit. That's cool. But you do like it here? Do you feel like you're gonna be here for a little while longer?
I don't know. I think I want to like do a couple months in LA and then maybe like come back here. Like I just want to like vibe it out. I think that I don't want to be like tied to one place necessarily.
Yeah.
But I do really love it here. And I think when I first moved here, I never thought I would be here for like, I think it's been 4 years now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's crazy. How do you go about well, and I guess I'll say this. I guess if you did move to LA, it would just be the same thing reverse. Like you could still you'd still be doing co-writes here and coming into town with the relationships and the people you have here. So in one sense, it would be you never really have to like let go, especially because you're kind of getting to travel through your songwriting, which is really cool. That's really awesome.
And also, like, I feel like Nashville would be a really easy place to visit because everyone is so, like, everyone has guest rooms and like couches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It'd be way more chill than visiting LA, I think.
What's LA like? I drove there one time and I've only spent like 2 days there. So
I feel like I'm not the best authority on LA just because I've been there, but only for like a week or 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
But but I feel like it's really like I'm also such a beach person. So like when I was there, I went to the beach one morning and then like went straight to my session from the beach and I was like, this is living, like this is everything.
That is so sick.
So there's that aspect of it and it's just like so beautiful there and there's just like so much going on like in like creatively it seems like, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That
is cool. That's special. That's cool. Do you feel like going forward, do you perceive yourself putting more emphasis on your artistry now that you've got like all this music you're prepared to put out?
Yeah, I actually do. But then again, it's like I've been not putting a lot of emphasis on it at all for the last couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I think that I was actually talking about this with Jordy recently. You know Jordy, right?
Oh, yeah, I love Jordy.
He's the best. But yeah, he was talking like saying how you can like be the like I forget how he phrased it. But basically like when you're an artist and when you're putting out your own music and doing your own thing, it's like you're the nucleus. Like you're the one that's like leading the charge and that's like a really cool place to be in. And so like even if you branch out and do like other things with for other people's projects, it's like cool to have something to come back to.
Yeah.
Like I really feel that, where I think I mean obviously the song's been out for like 3 days, but I just feel like cool stuff happens from just like doing your own thing, you know?
Yeah.
As opposed
Totally.
to like looking at what other people are like, looking at other people's cool shit they're doing and trying to like get in on that. It's like that's cool too, but like I think like sort of doing your own thing is like a maybe, I don't know if it's not better, but it's just been fun for 3 days.
Yeah, right. No, it is really fun, especially when you like. I just put out a song, I think 3 weeks ago, and I just felt like, yeah, the weekend where people were just like posting on their stories and stuff. And I just felt so affirmed, and I just felt like
Yeah,
I wanted to go back into the studio immediately. I was like, I'm ready. Like, put me back in. I'm ready to write a song, go on tour. Like, this is what I do. You know?
totally feel that. Yeah, it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, it really is. And I guess, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who maybe don't have as much interest in artistry, but I feel like for someone like you who is passionate about songwriting, but also likes the whole process and creating and being an artist, it's like they
Mm-hmm.
can only help each other. Like you can only get
Totally.
more opportunities in both from like making connections and just and all, but there's also just like a narrative that or like a personal identity to saying you're an artist that I feel like you're right. Like it helps you. I feel like that could really just help you in every way. Like it's
Totally.
hard to explain, but I think I know what you mean there.
Well, also I think people then it's like people will know what you do if they want to call you in to like their project, you know?
They know
It's
where
like
your heart's at musically.
yeah, and like looking at like what you do as an artist, it's like you get an idea of who you are from that. And so like if we were going to collaborate, I would be like asking you to collaborate because I see who you are and what you do and I want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whereas if you're just a songwriter, I bet it is a little bit harder to like explain where your like roots come from with songwriting or like how where your like heart lies in inspiration, you know.
Totally. Yeah, then it like might be based more off of like what credits you have or like who you've worked with as opposed to um like you just having like something that's very you out in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's really cool. That's I never really thought about it like that. Jordy is one of the smartest dudes.
It's crazy. Cuz he's so like nice and smiley and cheery. Not that like people that are really smiley can't be really smart, but like but he like it's like so low key that it's like, oh, you're like kind of like a business mastermind.
Yeah, you really would maybe not suspect it. Like, yeah, I've played like playing a show with him and like most recently I played one in Memphis earlier this year and like yeah, I don't know, just like getting to really be around him and like experience the way he interacts with people and the just like who he is like just very easygoing on the surface and then when we got to really talk and engage I realized that he has a massive understanding of the industry and of how
Mm-hmm.
really just anything he also just has like an infinite amount of ideas but he also has the execution to like follow through with them you know.
Totally. Yeah, it's really wild.
Yeah, that is wild. That's cool that y'all know each other. What'd you say?
Just shout out to Jordy.
Shout out to Jordy. For real, yeah, I'm fortunate to get to know him a little bit more recently. Okay, so with your, I'm curious with these songs you've been working on with Julian, and you said you're gonna be putting out a song like every month.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking with this like entire album that you've created at home? Are you thinking about like just dropping that, or is that just something that's gonna come out later, maybe? Or
I think my goal with that is to have it done by like the new year.
cool.
What is it's like September now, right?
I think it's August 31st today. Yeah,
Okay.
August 31st.
So like yeah, let's plan it out right now. No, just kidding.
Let's do it. So 2020.
Well, so like I'm putting out this EP from like now through the end of this year. And so in the meantime, I'm like just gonna be finishing up productions, and like there's a few more songs I want to finish writing, and then finish the album, and then try to like start dropping songs from that in like January maybe.
Ooh, wow, you're unstoppable. This is
I
exciting
mean,
news.
that's the plan, but like literally I just I'm in I don't really know how to produce yet, so
Yeah,
I mean I do like I know how to record stuff, and then like that when it comes to actual production,
for sure.
I'm struggling, but I'm gonna like bring in like some friends I think, and I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I feel like in the last 4 years, I've realized that my song or my release timelines
Mm-hmm.
always fail. Like I don't think I've ever had like a song come out when I thought it should. They always are delayed. It is so hard to actually finish the whole process and get something distributed to like streaming services.
I know when people like post a thing that's like, oh, we started writing this in April and it's June 1st and it's out. I'm like, how?
Yeah,
There's
right.
so much shit you have to do. Like I think I also realized that with putting out Sober Up, I was like, oh my god, like there is I didn't even really do it right. You know, like I definitely like skimped on like things and was like, I don't need to make this promo, and I don't need, you
Yeah.
know. But there's just still so much to think about, and to like so much content to create, and
Yeah, for real.
it's really wild.
I think I skimp out on the promo every time, which like I could be in the wrong, but I just like I don't know. I'm always like I think about it and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to like do any more promo. I just want to drop it. And maybe that impulse is helpful. It's probably not, but I have a hard time like putting in that extra effort,
Yeah.
in
I
that part of the process.
I think that there's literally examples of people who've done everything, and it's worked and it's not worked. You know what I mean? For like every approach, there's examples of it working and not working, and so it's just like, what the hell? We just should all do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it seems like the best promo is just dropping a song immediately. But also there's like all this new emphasis on the first day or the first week of it release because of the
Oh,
algorithms and all that. So you're like, oh, I have to make sure people listen to it so that it can maybe get on Discover Weekly or whatever. So there's extra pressure when it comes to like promoting music. And I don't know. Sometimes I can't figure out. But then I'm also like just posting on Instagram being like, I'm going to put out a song next week. Like I literally just did a few hours ago.
oh hell yeah.
I'm like, yeah, thank you. I'm like, does that actually do me any good? Is anybody like, oh, sick, I'm going to put a reminder on my phone to stream Freeze's new song? It's like they're going to wait until till Friday when I post, oh, there's a song out. Either way.
Yeah, it is so funny. It's like I think that also with just how like fast everything moves, and like how many people are putting shit out, it really is just like probably we should like warn people, but I don't think like I feel like a week is a good amount of time, and if it was any more
Yeah.
like 2 weeks before my song came out, I was like, oh shit, should I start posting? And then I was like, no, if I do, like people are gonna forget by the time
Yeah.
because like 85 more people will have released music in
Since then.
that, you know.
Yeah, right. That's so. Do you remember? I remember this so vividly, like being in high school and like getting on my computer and like going to Pitchfork or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, like this artist is gonna put out a new album. Here's their first single. New album comes out in 4 months, and you just be like, oh, I'm so excited, but I have to wait so long. Like I remember there was such long promo back then. It was crazy.
Remember like what artists you were really stoked on back then?
Yeah, I would. Well, in high school specifically, I was really into a lot of like indie pops, like Of Montreal, Animal Collective. Uh, I don't know, stuff like that. And then maybe I got really into Modest Mouse at one point.
Hell yeah.
Oberhofer, if you know who that is, he was my hero. But
I don't
he,
know.
he was a kind of a buzz boy. He like got really really popular really quickly in like the indie sphere. But then now he's just like he had this like label trouble, and he was like screw this whole thing, screw this game. And now he just goes on Instagram Live every night and plays classical piano songs for people and talks to people.
Is that just a quarantine thing, or that's like a...
No, he's been doing it for years.
What?
Yeah, it's the most fascinating. Like, I know he still writes, but he just like
what's
performs for people.
Sorry,
his name is Brad Oberhofer. And you actually will spell it correctly on your first try.
I appreciate the confidence. Brad Ober. I found him.
Yeah, he's friends with like Foxygen, if you know them.
Yeah. Wild.
But yeah, bands back then, that was how you did it. You'd like wait 3 years to put out an album, and you'd start promoting it like 4 months out or whatever. It's just crazy, you know?
Yeah. That's funny. I feel like I kind of...
exhausting.
Yeah, it really would, actually. Well, because then also it's like your entire life is these songs for like years, and then until you finally do like a new thing. But now it's, you can just like have a new song every week.
Yeah, the song I'm putting out this Friday is actually the first example of what you were just talking about. Like these, it's a collab song with a band called And the Boys, and we just like got together, and their whole process, they were like, yeah, we put out a song. Like when we start a song, we try to get it done and released within the month. They're like, just to keep it fresh. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. And it was crazy. We just like within a few sessions had it done. They were just like, all right, photo shoot, boom, here we go, album cover. We're sitting it in today. Just amazing.
That's so interesting. Wait, I want to look them up too now. Sorry, this is like the absolute worst.
No, this is awesome.
For a podcast.
No, you're good. You're good. They're called And the Boys, which is the worst name for typing in, but they have some amazing music on Spotify.
That's dope.
Yeah, there's some born and raised here. Brady is they all met in like Jackson, Tennessee, and moved here. It's pretty cool.
I love that. That's very sick. Well, I'm stoked to hear your guys' single.
Thank you. It's gonna be a little bit of a new sound for me, so I'm excited. It's got some auto tune in it. It's got some beats, and you know.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be fresh. What were you? I actually wanted to ask you what you were listening to in high school. Once you asked me that, I realized I was kind of curious.
Oh, I feel like literally I was under a musical rock until like the last few years, but
Really?
yeah, like
What do you mean?
Like when you were like, yeah, like waiting for bands to release new music, I was like, I actually was literally only listening to like music from like 40 years ago. So like as weird as it sounds, I don't really know that feeling when I was in high school, like waiting for bands to put out music, because I just wasn't like, I just wasn't listening to any current bands.
What were you listening, like 70s music a lot or 60s?
Yeah, like a ton of like a lot of Beatles and a lot of like Queen and Nirvana and like Beach Boys, like a lot of like like really like Paul Simon, like all like those classic things. And then but then I was also like really into like Coldplay and really into John Mayer, but like I got into him after he stopped really putting out like I was into like his older albums. And,
yeah, right.
And like I don't even know.
That's cool.
I was into like, do you know KT Tunstall?
Wow, that sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
I was also into like a bunch of just like these like woman singer-songwriter people who were putting stuff out in like the early 2000s.
That's cool.
So yeah, I kind of have like a weird, like I don't know what was actually happening in music.
Yeah. Wait, or is that the kind of music that you feel like you were raised on too? Like did your like parents listen to a lot of classic rock?
Yeah, I mean, I guess classic rock in that sense, like if those bands are...
Or classic pop, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it's like, I actually really never listened to like Rolling Stones or anything like that. So I guess it's more like classic pop or something. But yeah, that is, like what I guess was playing around the house. And like a lot of like my dad always had jazz playing. So yeah, it was just never pop radio.
Yeah.
Like I remember hanging out with friends in like middle school and high school and just everyone knowing every word to these songs that I had like literally never heard before.
Oh, dude, same. Yeah, I had never was able to listen to like pop radio, and I feel like even now, if I like go to a party, some like mid 2000s song will come on, everybody knows every
Yeah.
word. I'm just like, yeah, I've literally never heard the song ever, and people are like, yo, that's not true. I'm like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
serious.
It's so crazy. But yeah, I think yeah, in general I just like was not genuinely was not tuned into any music that was being actively released. It was like, and I'm still this way where I just like will have one album or something that I'm absolutely obsessed with and it's like all I listen to, and I'd rather listen to that album for like the 400th time than like listen to something new, you know?
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, I actually do, and I feel like there's more merit to that than people give, because now we live in this world where people want to like be an encyclopedia. It's like, oh, you listen to them and this and that, and it's like sometimes it's good to just be like, yeah, Rubber Soul by the Beatles. I've listened to that 200 times and I love it. You know?
This month.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I think
Yeah.
that's cool. I think that there's a lot of merit to like studying. I mean, I think that's how you. I think if you listen to a playlist every day with 100 new bands, you would learn a lot about maybe like what's popular or what's trending. But when you just like fall in love with an album, that's
Mm-hmm.
like why. To me, that's why I do it. Like the reason I want to be a musician is because of the albums that I cherish with my whole heart and want to make music like, you know.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Yeah, and I think that it's like there is a lot to learn um from I guess music from any era, but I feel like listening to older stuff, like I'm forever obsessed with Paul McCartney, but recently I've been like
Cool.
listening to his old songs and like just sort of trying to like tune in a little more to like very specific things that he's doing. And there's something like there's just so much to learn from it. It's insane. Uh,
Yeah, it
yeah,
really is. Do you like a lot of his like post Beatles stuff? Because I'm like slowly trying to listen to more and more of it, but sometimes I
yeah,
get overwhelmed or I don't know.
I
I
feel that.
like I like Ram, that album.
Yeah,
It's
I
pretty
think
cool.
Ram is um I think Ram is one of my favorites. Like the McCartney also, but also I think the best thing if you're trying to get into like post Beatles Paul is to watch like the Band on the Run tour. There's
Oh
a
yeah.
million videos of it on YouTube, and I want to say it's like 75 or 76 or something like that. But that's like what first did it for me because I was all Beatles for a while, and then it's like in the last like year maybe I've gotten like really into Paul's solo stuff, and it was like watching all those videos where I'm like, first of all, he's such a badass. Second of all, I know most of those songs. I just didn't even realize I knew them. Um, and yeah, and like that whole album's insane, but like the tour especially, I'm like, he was on it. But
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. I had no idea. I'll definitely have to check that out.
it's so sick. But yeah, he has so much solo career stuff, and it is kind of overwhelming. Like I haven't dove into all of it at all.
Yeah. What about
But
the Beach Boys? You said you dig the Beach Boys. You know they're my favorite
yeah,
band.
really,
Yeah,
that's wild.
they
Yeah,
changed my life.
I was mostly just like Pet Sounds on repeat.
Oh yeah,
Um,
totally.
but there's like some other songs here and there. Like I do this thing where I make playlists of. I actually got the idea from Jordy. It's like you make a playlist of like what you wish the record was. So it's basically like take off all the songs you don't vibe with, and then like
Hmm.
add some more repetitions of the songs you really do vibe with. So I feel like I've done that with Beach Boys. So I know
Whoa.
like there's so many songs there that I don't know at all. You know?
Yeah, right. The The Beach Boys like kind of post Pet Sounds as well as all Beatles. They really like did the band thing where it was like you the next song plays and you're like, whoa, this song was totally written by a different member singing to where you might just be like, I love this album, but I hate that song. You know what I mean?
Totally feel that.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to be in a band? Have you ever thought like, oh, that'd be so cool to be like in a band with a group of people?
Totally. Well, I was for a while when I was like 11 to like 14 maybe, so I don't think that really counts.
Whoa, what? That's crazy.
I was in like an all-girl band and we would like play around New York and everything. Um and it was fun, but I think if I were to do a band again, I would want to like play bass or something. Like I'd want to be like off to the side and like have no pressure but just have like really fun music and you just get to rock out.
Yeah, right. I think you could be really good at that. I could totally see you being a bass player, just hanging out on stage, having
I
fun.
would just, yeah, I'm like I wouldn't necessarily want to do like the front person thing in a band, but like yeah, like throw me on the drum kit. I don't know how to really drum, but like ideally that would be so dope.
Yeah, right. Man, me and Smart and Grant used to have conversations. Like we had so many conversations about like if we should do a band because we had a band in high school and it
Oh,
broke
cool.
up and obviously Grant does solo music, I do solo music and we're always like, would we be able to make like what if because back then, like back in the 60s, it seemed like people were just so much more willing to just be like, oh, I'll be in a band. Like even those
Yeah.
guys like if McCartney and Lennon lived in Nashville in 2020, there's no way they'd be in a band. They would just be in each other's projects. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's so true.
It's just a different mindset, I feel like, you know?
That's so true. Well, also I feel like at that like right now that our all of our networks are so insanely big. And so
Yeah.
like even when you're in high school, it's like and you have a small network and you know like maybe 8 people who do music and you really vibe with 3 of them. It's like, oh, of course we would like make this a thing. Or like when the Beatles talk about it, they're like when Lennon and McCartney met, like they were the only people each other knew that wrote music. And so it's like, of course we would do this together. But now I think it's like everyone knows everyone. And so there's probably less
Yeah.
like that connection of music is like less of a gel than it used to be. Maybe. I'm
Yeah.
also just totally like talking to my ass right now. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think you might be right. It sometimes I think it's sad. Sometimes like, man, maybe I should be in a band. But I also just love being an artist. I love being able to like do whatever I want whenever I want, and I can collaborate with people on my own terms. Like I can have a session with people or a co-write. But then
Yeah.
when it comes down to like my artistic decisions, and I think everybody, I mean, even those guys obviously clearly wound up preferring that. They stuck with the Beatles because it was incredibly popular, the most popular band of all time. But then even they couldn't do it. They were like, okay, we're going our separate ways as young people,
Yeah,
to pursue this.
totally. But no, also I love the idea of like how like Phoebe Bridgers has done band
Yeah.
on the side. Like I love that idea of just like doing a record as a band and then like a different band and like I don't know, just sort of being that free with things seems really dope.
Yeah. I miss uh I miss playing music with people like in any sense. Like now that I can't perform or like even
Yeah.
really like get together people, it makes me miss just like the collaborative aspect, how special that is. Have you performed much since being in Nashville?
Oh, since being in Nashville, yeah, I mean compared to you, not at all. But I've definitely played like I'd say like a couple shows a month up until quarantine, and then I haven't played at all since quarantine. But
Cool.
yeah, I'd say like maybe like 2 things a month, maybe 3 sometimes. But
You play a full band normally or solo?
I've only really done solo. Like I've played I played full band stuff in New York more, but since I've been in
Cool.
Nashville, it's all been solo. Just because I felt like um, it wasn't like I didn't know what I wanted the sound to be beyond like the guitar vocal. thing.
Yeah.
And I figured that it would be better for me to figure that out in a studio and then bring it to the band as opposed
Right.
to the other way around. Just because I don't know how to like lead a band or anything, you know?
That's hard. It is hard to lead it, like for real. Like I still think I have no idea how to do it. I'm like, man, that is a true skill, you know?
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like you really have to have such an understanding of like every person and every instrument.
Yeah. It's pretty insane. Would you ever like consider touring and stuff? Like if you keep putting out songs and they, you know,
Yeah,
you feel like
I
there's
would
momentum?
love to. I mean, I've never done it, so I really don't um like from the outside looking in, I'm like, oh, I would love to tour. And I'm sure I will at some point whenever like the world gets back to whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played at all recently?
No, I wish. I really really miss it. I miss touring. I'm willing to have the conversation to begin touring, or like
Mm-hmm.
even if that conversation means I still shouldn't and it's not safe. I'm always like I want people to be engaging in that conversation more. Again,
Yeah.
not because I even think that it's safe. Right now there's people aren't even really talking about it, and I miss it so much.
Yeah.
I would I'm I don't know. I want there to be a way to do it as soon as we feel like there is. I want to be the first. As soon as that day comes, I want to be on the road headed
Yeah.
to somewhere.
I so feel that. I
Yeah,
know it really is so wild. Like to just have it be this unknown.
it really is. I never thought that I would. There was an interview that got published on YouTube of me in Atlanta before a show, and it was like mid February, late February, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I will keep touring forever. I was like, there will never be I'll never be there will never be something that could stop that. Like I was so confident.
Do you
And
think you brought about coronavirus by saying this?
I might have. I genuinely might have been flirting with something there. It because when I said that I was just I was like talking out of my I was like saying I was like talking through my ego or like through myself. I was like, there will not be anything that can deter me. Like I won't settle down. I'm not gonna get married and then like be like, oh, I can't tour, like, or I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
like get old or like get a job so I can get health insurance or something. I'm going to stay touring even if it kills me. But then I didn't think about the fact that the world could just tell me that I can't anymore.
Right. That there's something like, I mean, it's so crazy because it's like that for everyone's plans. It's like we all had these plans that were like, oh well, I'm in charge of my life and I can decide what to do and I'm gonna do this, and then it's just like a huge resounding no. Like
Yeah.
change your plans. Like okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Exactly. It it's been it's definitely been day by day. Is what I say. You know, it's like I wake up every day and just try to make it be a good day. I don't have any long term plans. You know what I mean? Just
Totally.
can't make them. So, um, I guess okay. I have a final question for you. I guess we're getting towards the end, but I'm curious. Like, and this goes along with that. Like, do you feel like during quarantine, during the rest of quarantine, however long it is, do you have like what is that going to look like for you? Like, do you have a day by day? Is there things you're working on, or any like hobbies or projects besides like putting out new music? Or maybe you work. I don't even know if you. I guess you don't work anywhere. You said you just do music. That's cool.
Yeah, I guess like I feel like I've gone through phases of different um like different phases in quarantine almost
Yeah.
of either like being like way more into like creating stuff and like working, and then phases of like just wanting to like see a few friends and like go to the lake and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like right now um I feel like I'm gonna probably for the next like little while just really try to like get back into production stuff and like get stoked on creating more, um and but also just like really try to have more fun, you know?
Yeah.
Not that I don't have fun. Like, I feel like I do have a lot of fun, but I feel like I always, like, I never, like, put that in my schedule of, like, no, I should, like, go have a night to just, like, do whatever. I don't know.
Totally. No, totally. I feel that for sure.
But yeah, I guess the rest of my, I don't know. It's like, yeah, just because I don't know how long anything will last. I think I just, in general, want to, like, be stoked on things I'm doing, you know?
Yeah. It's yeah, like a mentality.
Inspiration or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best for that. I know it's a daily. It really is something that changes every day, at least for me. So
Oh, it totally does.
yeah, I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. Likewise. This was
Yeah,
really fun to catch up.
yeah, yeah. Genuinely, it's just been awesome to get to talk to you a little bit more, and hopefully, some people will hear this and you'll gain some new friends and fans. For anyone listening, to plug, check out Annika Bennett. New song "Sober Up," more songs on the way, which is exciting to hear on streaming anywhere. And then also they can, I guess, follow you on Instagram
Heck yeah.
at it's just Annika Bennett, right? Oh wait, with like 4 T's.
Yeah, because the 2T one was taken. And I don't know if 3T's was. I don't know why I went to 4T's.
I like it.
I'll just keep adding T's.
Yeah. Follow Annika Bennett with 4 T's. And I look forward to hearing what you do next.
Thank you. Likewise. I'm stoked to hear your song on Friday.
Thank you. I really, really hope you like it.
I'll check it out. I'll report back.
Please do.
All right. Sick.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Yeah. Peace.